Here is a sikha, a speech from the Lubavitcher Rebbe, which he made on in 1956. Very deep ideas here, practical, but very deep and positive and uncompromising ideas about education. Attitude, the attitude you should have to Jewish education. Okay, first of all, we know, just let me close this door. That everything depends on education. If you leave people uneducated, so eventually things descend into chaos. Unlike what the anarchists or the Pink Floyd think, teachers leave the kids alone. You have to have education. Even that statement alone is ridiculous because it's a statement of education. It's trying to educate teachers. So how can you educate people to avoid education? So that's the whole Torah. The whole idea of the Torah is education. Man is created in a way that if he makes his own decisions and does whatever he wants to, he'll destroy the world. That's what Judaism teaches. And man has to be taught. Man wants to be taught. Man wants wisdom. Man doesn't want to be stagnant. Man wants to always be moving, fixing. That's what universities are for. That's what ideally religion is supposed to be for. That's what the press is all about. It's supposed to be to educate people, to tell people what is right, what is good, what is bad, what bad things happen, what good things happen. To inform people of the truth. Truth is good, but there's different levels of truth. For instance, if a person takes a drug, or if he steals, or if he lies, he feels good. That's true. That's a true thing. Right? That certainly is true. Right? To conquer the world and to not have any remorse about it, you'll feel good. That's true, but it's not ultimate truth, because in the end, it won't come out. So just before I start this, I want to say, someone went into the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and he asked Lubavitcher Rebbe, this must have been in the 70s, and he said, why is it there was one, a Chassid, his name was Peretz Mochkin. He was a Chassid, and he didn't care much about money, he cared about bringing his family up properly and educating properly, and him being a God-fearing person and helping other people. But he was terribly poor. And when he would go into the Rebbe for an audience, he had to borrow someone's coat jacket to go in, because this was up. So another Chassid went in and asked the Rebbe, why is it that Peretz Mochkin, who was such a God-fearing and such a kind, good person, only wants to do good, that he doesn't even have a normal jacket. And Marilyn Monroe makes $5 million a year. This is the thing. How can it be? So the Rebbe said, Peretz Mochkin is a very happy person, and he probably doesn't even know that his garment is torn. Somebody probably had to tell him. Right? He doesn't really care about those things. He cares about meaningful things, about being an honest person, and a positive person, and a helpful person. He said, on the other hand, this movie star that you mentioned, she's miserable with the money that she has. And sure enough, that a year, whatever, 2 later, she committed suicide. So the idea is education. To educate a person on what really is meaningful in life. Is the meaningful in life what everybody says, your status, your bank account, how many zeros you have in your bank account, all the things that people really consider to be, valuable. Or is there, maybe people have to be educated toward a different type of value, right? To do what God wants in private, and for a person to, be poor and not steal privately could be worth more than, who knows, than all the Torah that I learned. Right? Could be some non-Jewish old lady accepts tragedy with equanimity. It could be greater than all the Torah and the mitzvahs that I learned, and I'm a I lose my temper all the time because I think I'm so great. Could be. We don't know how things are measured. The Rambam says, Maimonides says, that everyone goes to heaven or to hell according to their good deeds or their bad deeds. And if a person has more good, goes to heaven. More bad, he goes to hell. But only God knows how to measure, right, how much this good deed is worth and how bad this bad deed is. We don't know. Could be a person his whole life does evil things. In the last moment of his life, he says, I was wrong. I made a big mistake. Don't make the same mistake I did. Right? Don't go to the house of the rising sun or whatever. And all of a sudden, it changes, right? It changes the whole world. It could be that mitzvah is greater than a person that his whole life was a big tzaddik and he learned Torah and he did all these things. And the last moment he goes on, on worldwide television and he curses or something, does something bad. Who knows? So what's the point? You have to do good. But the problem is you have to know what good is. And that's what education does. That's what education does. So let's go. Sivu Paro. We see in this week's Torah portion. and just one more preface. The first Rebbe of Chabad, called the Alter Rebbe, Reb Shneur Zalman, he once said that a Jew has to live with the times, which at that time was a very anti-Jewish statement, because Napoleon and all these people were coming along and saying, the Torah is old stuff, it's antiquated. You have to live with the times. You have to be modern, and now there's music. So the first Rebbe said you have to live with the times. Because Rebbe said, people said, what does that mean? Live with the times. That's exactly what we're trying not to do. He said, no, the real living with the times is the Torah portion of the week. That every idea, every word is really telling you what's really new, what's really valuable, what's really meaningful. To read the New York Times or whatever it is, and to understand, first of all, like they say, half of it is lies, and the other half is not true. And even the date is not true. So this is the news for Monday, December the 18th or whatever. What's the date today? 22nd. 25th. Today is the 25th. All right, today is the 25th. And really, what you're reading is the news was the news at best from yesterday, because you're not telling what's going on right now. Mm-hmm. But the Torah is telling you what's going on right now, the really important things, the eternal things. Because everyone's life is limited. Everyone lives and everybody dies. Life is limited, but every second is infinite. And if you use every second properly, then it's already not part of this world. It's not part of your understanding. If you use it properly, it becomes something infinite, which we can't understand, but it's true, because that's what life is. Life is infinite. Life is not understandable. Here we go. Sivu shel Paro, the commandment of Paro. Kol ben Yalud. Pharaoh said, right in the beginning of this week's Torah section, every boy that is born, throw him into the river, drown him. V'kol abat chayun, but all of the daughters let live, or keep alive. Mu'oraz hashayla. Immediately you can ask a question. L'shem ma tzorich Tosfot. Why did Paro have to add on this about keep the girls alive? I mean, he said just kill all the boys. That's all. If he said kill all the boys, you take orders. Kill all. What does he have to say? Let the girls live. And why didn't he say let the girls and the animals and the birds? And everything that's supposed to be kept alive. He said keep it. Why did he have to say all the boys? The decree was on the boys. All the boys killed. Why? Because these astrologers told him there's going to be born a boy this year, that he's going to take over Egypt. He's going to take over Egypt. And quite paradoxically, it ended up that Pharaoh killed all the boys. He even killed the Egyptian boys. He killed all the boys, except for that one that was going to take over Egypt. And that boy, he brought up in his own house.
His grandson.
Right? He brought up in his own house, like his grandson or whatever. Okay. The irony of it we'll discuss later. Call about every daughter, techayun, keep alive. Mu'orat hashayla, immediately is the question, l'shem maho yitzorich, why did Paro have to add on Tosfot b'davar of leaving the girls alive. Lidido shel Paro hayo al banim. The commandment of Paro, the problem of Paro was on the sons, the boys, Anoladim, lahashlich leyor, to keep them, to kill them, drown them. The ilu abanot, but the girls, lichaora, at first glance, tachum hitaninu, they weren't in the whole area of interest of Paro, b'chalal at all. His astrologers told him that there's going to be born a boy. He's going to take over. So he was only interested in exterminating the boys. Hapsika b'kol bat techayun, this command, the sentence, keep the girls alive, malamedet ki pradze, that this detail about the girls, avu b'chlal gzera, this was also part of Paro's decree. In other words, you should drown the boys, but the girls, you should also do something to keep them alive. What does this mean? We'll see. And also, the main question is, what's this got to do with us now? I mean, good, Paro, this decree of Paro was, thousands of years ago. 3,500 years ago. But we can learn out, we can see an implication over here. But mashmut hamila, in the meaning of the word techayun, means aleichem. It's telling the Egyptians that it is obligated, it is obligatory to you, it is upon you, Anshe Mitzrayim, the people of Egypt, lahachayot et hasharit pleita, to keep the remainder of the Jewish people, all the sons he wanted, God forbid, to kill, and all the girls, he said, also should do something with them. The girls you should keep alive. What does it mean, keep alive? Melamed keep sorry. Let lahavi lahem chayim, give them life. Shelafi musagei Mitzrayim, that you should keep them alive on the terms of Egypt. In other words, what they in Egypt considered to be real life. Let me close the door one second. Otam Mitzrim, those same Egyptians, Shenitztavu, that they were commanded, Lahamit, to kill at Gufam, the bodies of the Jewish children, Bihashlachatam, throwing them into the river. Nitztavu were also commanded, Lahamit, to kill the souls of the girls. No. بولش تيجي نعم نصيب. أنا